What's up, everybody? I just got out of watching Final Destination Bloodlines. Honestly, really good return to the Final Destination series, like a really good return to form. I know the other ones like 5, 3, and 4 were kind of lackluster in the Final Destination sense. But I think Bloodlines is probably my third favorite Final Destination movie, right under the first one, Final Destination 2. I still think it's top, and then, well, actually, I think I might actually put it above 1 now that I think about it a little bit more. Rankings for another time. Anyway, really good movie. It might be number 2, might be number 3. Anyway, it got me to do something that I have not done since the second movie. I actually care about the characters. Now, in Bloodlines, you follow a family of characters, not necessarily a group of characters just found by circumstance or a group of friends. You follow a group of family members trying to escape death because their grandmother escaped death and saved hundreds of people's lives. So death started having to go down each person's family branch and kill each person that was not supposed to be alive. And because it took so long to get to Iris and them, because Iris was the last one killed, that means that she had family, grandchildren, and she had family. Her children then had children, which means that they're her grandchildren, and which means that, hey, death is coming. Even Tony Todd's hey, he comes back in this movie, he's like, you can't stop this. You're screwed. He doesn't really he's just I suggest you enjoy the time that you have left, because that's what I'm gonna do. So usually I like to talk about the trailers before that, but I just hopped right into this because the movie started 15 minutes late. No trailers that I got to see. So So, you have your obligatory, hey, we don't believe what you're saying scene that is in every Final Destination movie, because, hey, why should we trust you? What you're saying is nonsense. Why, there's no reason to believe what you're saying. So, you have that scene, you have, the scene of, the first, shocking death that everybody, kind of witnesses. And they kind of just they believe, they're oh, okay, actually, I believe you now, let us go and let's go and figure this out, let's stop this. Which honestly, they did some twist in here also that I did not expect, that I'll get more in my spoiler talk, but I just want to get a couple thoughts out first before I jump heavy into spoilers. There is one scene where the first death, gruesome. It is a gruesome death. The first sequence, the first sequence, because there's 2 of them, that you see is a dream sequence. It's a dream of the main character that she wakes up, she's like, oh my god. So it's not the typical, oh, I had a sequence, let me save everybody. It's, oh crap, you see how they were saved later on. I want to say the final scene, very, very suspenseful. You see that and you're like, oh crap. But I think I don't know if this was done with CGI or if some of it was done with practical effects. If it was done with practical effects, these are some really good looking practical effects. If it was done with CGI, I think the CGI was pretty good. So I want to hop into spoilers because this is a Final Destination movie. I don't want to, I feel like the best way to talk about this is talking spoilers. So here is the obligatory spoiler talk. Like I said, I don't have a thing up yet. It just says spoilers. But first things first. The first death that we see. Now, again, spoilers. Get out of here. Leave, people, if you don't want to be spoiled. And I think the best way to experience this movie is spoiler-free. I mean, it's a Final Destination movie, after all. is the grandmother. Iris, she's having these dreams, and she's like, oh my god, like, I cannot sleep. And, like, these dreams are messing with me, and it's the dreams of her grandmother Iris, and like the premonition that she would have had that she did have at the Sky Needle. So she's like, okay, I have to leave. Like, I need to go find it. And no one really wants to talk about Iris because they're like, well, she's crazy. Like, you don't want to go see her. She's crazy. She's batshit. Like, don't leave her alone. And she's like, no, I need to go find her. So she goes and finds her. And she's like, hey, like, what is going on? Like, why am I having these dreams? Like, why am I having these dreams? She's like, those aren't dreams, those are premonitions. I think she tries to, like, she wants to help her, but, like, Stephanie, she doesn't want to listen. She's like, I think you're crazy. This is a mistake coming here. See ya, bye. And then she's like, okay, fine. You know what? I have to show you. So she literally just steps out of her safe house, and she's like, and then immediately gets speared in the head. And, which goes to, like, the death, like, which, they go to the funeral, the one character that hasn't been there shows up, it's a whole thing. So, she starts telling everybody, like, hey, look, like, I've studied this book. Look, we need to figure this out. Like, look, I know who's next. Like, listen to me. And then you get the whole character, not listening to them scene. So then, it goes to Eric. And Eric has a great scene where he's in the tattoo shop. And I'm guessing if you've seen the trailers, you have seen this scene. Where, like, he's in the tattoo shop. It hooks onto his nose ring. Like, the Rube Goldberg starts working. He, rips off. He falls down into the fire. He gets burned. But he's alive. He, like, you're like, oh my god, like, is he dead? Is he alive? But he ends up being alive because he's not a biological son of the family. He's an adopted, like, he's a son of a different guy. So they're like, oh my god, you're alive. Like, that's great. Like, but, like, how? And it's like, and then you get the reveal. Well, he decides, like, so they go to the hospital because, like, okay, look, we know someone, like JB, like, we need to go find him. You get Tony Todd's character. Now, a lot of people were theorizing that Tony Todd's character is Death, but, we get a little bit more elaboration on that, of that he's, not, but honestly, I could have done without that, but, what are you gonna do? So they go, and they're like, okay, look, like, and so he's like, don't fuck with Death. Death does not like when you fuck with him. And Eric could have lived probably a pretty long life if he decided not to fuck with Death. Because Tony Todd's like, look, either you got to flatline and come back to life, or you have to kill somebody and take their time. Which actually leads into, like, this really dark, like, a killing babies joke. Because, like, they pass by a nursery. He's like, you think we should? He's like, no, we're not gonna. But again, we could. No. He's like, yeah, don't touch those babies. He's like, I'm not gonna touch those babies. But Eric decides, hey, let's fuck with Death. So he goes and he starts, like, trying to have his brother flatline so he can bring him back, like, with using his peanut allergy. And Eric learns the hard way. Probably shouldn't have done that, especially when you're next to a magnetic MRI machine and you have piercings everywhere, and I mean everywhere. You probably know where I'm going with this. Rips out, wheelchair, smacks into him, through the body. He fucks up. He fucks with Death, and Death fucks with him. So then Bobby gets killed because he gets a freaking one of those coilers from a vending machine, goes straight into his head. Told you not to fuck with Death. So then they're like, okay, look, we need to get back to the safe house. Like, we need to get Mom to the safe house. If she's in the safe house, then we're safe. And she's like, look, like, as long as Mom is safe, we're safe. So they start rushing back to the safe house, which I'll continue in the next part. Part 2. Sorry, the video went a little long. I know TikTok's supposed to be, like, short scrolls, but it allows me to edit easier because I can just stop and go. Okay. So where are we at? Oh yeah. So they rush back to the house, or to the safe house, and then, like the wind starts blowing. It's like, look, we got to get in the safe house. And like the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, look, you guys have been with death. Like, do you really think that he's just going to let you get in the safe house? If the wind's blowing, he's probably like, oh, these motherfuckers about to just burst through the gate, and I already have a plan for them. So he sets up their plan, and he sets up their plan, and it's just like pandemonium, because like sparks fly, how it goes in the house, stove turns on, and immediately the mom's like, oh, hit the deck, and then she shuts the door, but you know it's a little bit too late. You know, like the explosion sets off, and like everybody's thrown everywhere. Steph's seatbelt got stuck earlier because they're trying to get her in the house, and they're like, look, just leave me, go, like the seatbelt's stuck, like go. You know, like you know, the mom, like she comes up, she like half her face is burned, and like the sun's stuck under, so she lifts it and like pulls him out. He gets out, and then she's like, okay, look, like I'm safe, like just go save your sister. And then like she gets smacked, because like the whole thing was like, you can't continue down the line until you kill the person before that. So if she's safe and she never dies, she's okay. So they go and they get Steph. He gets her out, and then like Steph, you know, goes out. She flatlines, and then like he resuscitates her, basically. He restarts her heart. So you know, you see later, you know, like the prom, and like he's picking up his date, and then you know, you got the doctor, and like they're talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, you know, Charlie, he brought me back to life. And he's like, well, and she's like, well, what do you mean? He's like, well, you know, no big deal. He's like, no, like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, he didn't really bring you back to life. You kind of just went unconscious, and he just restarted you. Like, he just brought you back to consciousness. And she's like, oh. And then you see, like, the red car pass. Like, the 1950s, 60s car pass. And like, you see the realization on her face, and she's like, run. And they start running, and a train derails. And just, like, starts going, like, it just starts going, and it's just, and you're just like, oh my god. Well, they get past the train, and you're thinking, wow, like, what the heck just happened? And then you know, you're just kind of like, oh my god, like they survived? Is it over? And then just 2 logs, 1, 2, flatline, because you can't have a happy ending in a Final Destination movie. They're just meatbags made to be killed. But honestly, one of the better Final Destinations. And they had a lovely thing of in memory of Tony Todd after the end credits. But I think probably one of the better ones, definitely. If you know, like, there you have like your Scream Queens, Julia, amazing Scream Queen. Kind of wish we got to see more of her before her unfortunate accident with a garbage truck, but what can you do? Yeah, but it is a sight to behold. Yeah, but definitely go see the movie. Go watch it. This is the end of my part 2 review. I know it's probably weird seeing someone on TikTok try to make a 14-minute video, but hey, look. Hey. Anyway, signing off.